What's up, guys? Healthy boundaries and how to set them up. I've been asked a lot of, hey, I've been told I need to set up boundaries and healthy boundaries. How do I set up healthy boundaries and what are they? So I'm making a video on it for you because why? You've been asking for it, so here it is. If you're new to my channel, my name is Eric. I am diagnosed with ADHD, PTSD, GAD, and MDD. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, I'm none of that. I'm a recovering alcoholic, cocaine addict. I also lost my wife and father to suicide, and it's my passion to make sure that nobody goes it alone. If you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, it's right down there, hit the like and subscribe button. So healthy boundaries and setting them up. I work actually part-time with a mental health rehab, renewal recovery. The link is actually pinned down below to their mental health facility along with the phone number if you guys are interested in actually working and getting 30-day inpatient to an actual facility and not a hospital. The reason that I bring them up is because I actually help on Sundays talking with the patients there that how to set a healthy boundary and exactly what a healthy boundary is. Because again, not being a doctor or therapist or anything of that sort, it's a lot easier on that human level to be able to say, hey, here's kind of how I did it, and maybe it'll work for you, and maybe you can get some ideas from it. So healthy boundaries, one of the biggest examples that I use is with my mom. And yes, I do talk to my mom, and I am a boy, and I'm a mother's boy, whatever. But I do have to have healthy boundaries with my family. And my mom is actually one of them I have to have a healthy boundary with. The reason is because, well, let's face it, it's my mom and she wants to parent me. I'm 39 years old. I don't really want to be parented like that. So we have to have healthy boundaries. And my healthy boundaries are this. When you set up a boundary, it's against something that normally will trigger you. So for me, for example, for self-harm, one of my biggest triggers is the fear and the thought that I am failing or letting other people down. As soon as I feel that I'm failing or letting other people down, that fear of failure creeps in and I can relapse on self-harm, and I have before. My parents have triggered that before. One of the healthy boundaries that I have set up is, okay, I know what triggers it. Great, I know what my trigger is. Now I need a boundary to protect that trigger because it's my responsibility. So that boundary is to make sure that I don't get to the point that I feel like I'm a failure. So with my mom, one of the things is if it gets to the point that I start feeling like a failure, it is my responsibility and my boundary now to speak up and say, we need to change the conversation because I'm starting to really feel shitty about myself. I literally will say that. And that is my boundary. And the other person, it's up to them to respect your boundary. My mom does, and we'll redirect the conversation and go to another conversation. If you're new setting up boundaries and somebody crosses that, you have to say, no, you don't understand. This is a subject line and topic line that I don't feel comfortable talking about. It's something that's going to hurt me. And if you respect me, please respect this boundary. Let's talk about something else. And sometimes people will guilt trip you. They'll do different kind of manipulative things almost to make you feel bad for that boundary, and you cannot let them. Remember, it's not selfish, that's self-maintenance. So with her, hey, you got to stop. We've got to stop on this subject. My big thing is stop. That is my boundary, and that's my boundary word is stop. Also, another healthy boundary is a lot of times we'll get really frustrated because maybe we want to vent, and we feel so alone because anytime we vent to somebody, they go, you know what, here's what you need to do. Because next thing you know, they're going to play the therapist role. They're switching their hat. I'm a therapist now because you've asked for help and I'm going to tell you what to do. And sometimes we just need to share. An easy boundary to set is, hey, if I tell you, hey, I just need to vent, just listen to me. I don't need any repeating back input or anything like that. I just need you to listen to let me get it off my chest. And especially with your spouse, with my wife, we have the same thing. She will tell me, hey, I need to vent right now. As soon as she says that, I know don't throw and throw out suggestions, throw out anything of you should do this, and just sit there and listen. And repeat some of it back to let them know that you're listening. That, again, is a healthy boundary. And boundaries essentially can be words or gestures that let people know to please stop. Please stop is an easy way to set up that boundary. And that boundary is being set up against anything that's going to bring on added pain or to make you go down an area that you may relapse. And remember that sometimes if somebody is crossing that boundary, it's okay to hang up the phone. It's okay to walk away because you have to protect yourself. If somebody gets to the point that they're pushing me really hard to the point that I could possibly relapse when it comes to alcohol to go, I'm going to numb this, I need to walk away. I need to hang up the phone. I need to get my shit up here straight. And I need to protect that boundary with everything I can. So healthy boundaries aren't, I mean, it's not something you're going to see, but it's something that you have to realize that, hey, these are what all my triggers are. And these are the things that maybe get me to the point that I get too emotionally involved or emotionally hurt, or to the point that I want to self-harm, or the point that I want to relapse, or the point that I take it on myself, or it brings my depression even further down. I want to find out what all those triggers are, and now how do I prevent these triggers from going off? And it's not things that are going to offend you. It's literally somebody making me feel like a failure doesn't offend me. It hurts my heart. It hurts my soul. That's why I relapse into self-harm. That I need to let them know, hey, you need to stop. You got to stop. This shit is getting to me. We got to stop this. New subject line. And it's not personal. It's protection. It's protecting myself and protecting me how I am. So don't be afraid to set up boundaries. I'm going to do a lot more videos on boundaries, but you want to find out everybody in your life of who you got to set up boundaries with, and let them know, hey, you know what, when this happens, it hurts me. And so let's not talk on this topic, or the way that we talk about it, or the way that it goes down. Because the more that we protect our boundaries and protect our triggers then, and we own it all and we're responsible for it, the less that they happen. So you're going to have different boundaries with everybody, and they're going to be for different things, and that's okay. And the big thing, though, is you have to let them know these are my boundaries. It's communication, too. The clearer your communication is, nobody should be offended in this. My mom wasn't offended. My wife wasn't offended. People weren't offended by any of these. It was like, hey, you know, I really struggle with this, and I don't like it when we talk about this, 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 and this. And here's going to be kind of my safety word. It's kind of like... it was sex. You have that safety word. You got to have a safety word with people. And when you do have that, and it can be whatever you want. My big one is stop. You got to stop. And as you notice how my head even bobs, like if I'm with somebody and I'm doing this, like that's it. That's how it goes down. Like stop. Like we got to stop this. We got to stop. And we'll switch over to another subject. And the people that are close to me understand that, and they respect that, and we'll switch the conversation. Like, it doesn't mean that it has to be awkward or anything like that. We literally switch the conversation. Dude, love you, bro, and hug it out, whatever. That we have now switched that conversation. We protected that boundary. We protected that trigger. I'm not self-harming. I'm not relapsing. I'm not taking on a burden or anything of that sort. They don't feel bad because they didn't unintentionally hurt me and wonder why I've ghosted them or anything of that sort. Now, if somebody does overstep your boundaries multiple times, it's okay to cut them out of your life. There's nothing wrong with that. Cut them out. Cut them out of your life. It's okay to, because it's your life, not their life. And you know what? It's not about the volume of people in your life. It's about the quality of the people in your life and who you've surrounded yourself with that help you lift you up and don't bring you down. Remember that. So when it comes to those setting those healthy boundaries, even if you have to make a list of, hey, these are the topics that we don't talk about, and you have to hand it to the person, do it. And just say, hey, this isn't out of being an asshole. This isn't out of anything other than the fact that I'm trying to better and protect myself. So here you go. It might seem awkward, but you have to be very clear on those boundaries. And the more clear you are on the boundaries, the less your boundaries get crossed. The more then you become comfortable to hang up the phone, because you know that they know this is a boundary of mine, and now you've crossed it multiple times. I got to hang up. And we don't hold on to that guilt. And then we also don't, in return, end up hurting ourselves. I hope that this helps somebody out there. If you have questions on boundaries, again, comment down below. Hit the like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And if you're struggling out there and you want to even get into a mental health facility that's not a hospital, it's actually a center, a recovery center. I have the link pinned down below to Renewal. I even have the phone number for them down below. Feel free to call them, find out what it's all about. You'd get to meet me every Sunday there too, and even have my help also. It's a we thing, it's a us thing, together thing, every single day fighting through. My whole goal was to bridge the gap between a crisis hotline and therapy with all the resources, tools, and experiences that we could ever possibly share to make sure that nobody goes through it alone. In the description box, I have links to all my different social medias. I have links to the free peer-to-peer support community with Discord. I even have links down below to things on Amazon that I use, like fidget cubes, fidget spinners, even a link down below to BetterHelp. Because again, it's trial and error to find out what works, and therapy helps. It helps to take care of yourself and work on yourself. Believe me, because you're a BAMF. You're a badass motherfucker. You made it through 100% of your worst days to make it through 2 today. And together we got this.